So, today we're going to dive into a pretty profound challenge from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. It's really a warning against getting too comfortable, against just blending in. And it's also a guide for how to build a self that, well, can't be forgotten.
You see, for Nietzsche, this wasn't just some clever one liner. He saw it as more of a prophecy about what happens to our soul, piece by piece, every single time we choose to just blend in instead of standing out. It's about a slow kind of death.
So let's unpack this idea, this prophecy of his. For Nietzsche, conformity isn't some big, dramatic event. It's more like a gradual disappearance. It's like you're slowly fading out, piece by piece, until there's really nothing left of you, just an echo of what everybody else wanted you to be. And what's really fascinating here is that Nietzsche didn't see this as just a social choice. No, he saw it as a spiritual one. He called it a spiritual surrender. It's that moment you decide, deep down, you know what? I'd rather be liked than be real. I'd rather fit into their world than have to build my own.
But what's the actual cost of this surrender? I mean, what are we really trading away when we choose the crowd? Let's get specific and break down the exact exchanges we make just to fit in. All right, first up, you trade your voice. You learn to keep your mouth shut, right? To not rock the boat. You trade away your unique point of view, your challenging ideas. And what do you get? A life without friction. You trade your own fire for the quiet comfort of just not being noticed. Think about it. When was the last time you did that? The moment you just swallowed a thought to keep the peace. That's the trade.
Next up, you trade your identity. This is when you start sanding down all your interesting edges. You know, the quirks, the weird passions that make you, you. And you do it all just to fit into the nice, smooth, acceptable shape of the group. You see this in practice when you realize there are parts of yourself you only show to certain people. You become what they reward, not what you actually are.
And this one might be the most devastating trait of all. You give up your truth. You start abandoning what you know deep in your gut is real. And you do it in exchange for validation, for that quick, temporary warmth you get from applause. Applause from people who, let's be honest, only approve of the mask you're wearing. And here's the crazy irony in all of this, right? The very thing you're doing to try and secure your place, fitting in, is the exact thing that makes you completely forgettable. History just doesn't build monuments to conformity. It never has.
Okay, so if we're going to break free from this, we first have to understand what we're really up against. We need to look at the crowd's true nature and its cold, often controlling motives.
Nietzsche warned about the tribe's influence, and let's be real, today it's more relentless than ever. It's literally everywhere, in your phone, your social feeds, at work, even in your own home. It's this constant hum in the background, telling us what's cool, what's acceptable, what's allowed. It's a nonstop pressure to just fall in line.
And here's the cold, hard truth of it all. The crowd's acceptance, it's never actually about you. It never was. It only values you as long as you're manageable, as long as you're predictable and don't challenge the norms. The crowd's main concern is control, not your happiness.
And that right there, that's exactly why the crowd turns on people who dare to be different. The second you decide to think for yourself, to act on your own principles, you become a threat. Why? Because your freedom shines a light on the prison that everyone else has willingly accepted, and for many, that is just unforgivable.
So this all leads to one massive, pivotal question that Nietzsche is really asking all of us. Just let it sink in for a second. Who is the person waiting on the other side of your fear of being rejected? This is the question that shifts us from just talking about the problem to finding the path forward.
All right, so how do we actually do this? How do we walk that path? This next part is all about that journey. It's difficult, for sure, but it's absolutely essential. The process of breaking away from the herd and forging your own way on purpose.
Nietzsche's take is pretty radical. He says real transformation requires a few deaths. Not literal ones, obviously, but symbolic ones that make space for your real self. First, you have to kill that deep instinct to please everybody, that constant nagging anxiety about what other people think. Second, you have to kill your addiction to getting validation from others, that hunger for likes, compliments, and approval. And finally, you have to let go of that carefully built, fake image you've been showing the world. It's only by letting these things die that your true self has any room to breathe.
And it is so important to get this right. This isn't about being a rebel without a cause. It's not about being contrary just for the sake of it. No, this is about taking on the ultimate responsibility, the full ownership of your own mind, your own choices, and your own soul, especially when doing so is unpopular. So you go through all this fire. What's on the other side? What's the payoff? Well, it's the biggest prize there is, becoming a whole, sovereign person. Yeah, this table right here, it just lays out the stakes perfectly, doesn't it? The world, the crowd, it's training you to be replaceable. It wants you to be manageable and to just obey. But the path of the individual, it aims for the exact opposite, to become unforgettable, to be sovereign in your own life, and to be a creator of your own values. And listen, let's be super clear about one thing. The goal here is not perfection. Nobody's perfect. The goal is wholeness. It's about having the guts to claim every single part of yourself. The brilliant parts, sure, but also the flaws, the doubts, and the old wounds. That's what makes a person real. So I want to leave you with a few direct questions, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. First one, are you actually living your life, or are you just performing a role you think you're supposed to play? Second question, when you talk to people, are you actually speaking what's on your mind? Or are you constantly filtering everything, watering it all down, just to keep things comfortable? And finally, are you the one choosing your path, or are you just walking down a trail that was already laid out by people who were too afraid to carve their own? Because in the end, the crowd will forget you. It always does. History remembers the outliers, the creators, the ones who chose their soul over their image. The path of conformity is the path to being forgotten. So the only question left is, who are you going to be? The one who obeyed, or the one who dared to be unforgettable?